Welcome to this NestLink demo video. My name is Hassan Ahmed and I'm a sales engineer here at QBuild Software. QBuild is the industry leader in integrating engineering software to ERP, providing customer-centric services to over 2,000 discrete manufacturers. We partner with 50+ engineering and ERP systems, and as an international company with offices around the globe, we are able to support our customers no matter where they are. QSuite, our comprehensive solution suite, includes CAD-Link, ECX Manager, NestLink, and more. With QSuite, we empower our customers with streamlined processes and significant cost savings, ensuring efficiency and accuracy every step of the way. Today, QBuild's product manager, Nathan Landsman, is here to explain how NestLink helps connect Acumatica with SigmaNEST.
Hello, my name is Nathan Landsman, and I'm going to be walking you through how NestLink can seamlessly integrate between your nesting software and Acumatica ERP. So NestLink is our bi-directional bridge between Acumatica and your nesting software. It's a background application that typically sits on the nesting software server, and its main goal is to communicate between your nesting software and Acumatica ERP, details from your Acumatica production orders, your inventory, as well as nesting results from your nesting software back into Acumatica. So there are four main parts of nesting. First one is creating new parts along with the geometry DXF files in your nesting software based off of the Acumatica inventory ID information. It is creating new work orders in your nesting software based off of released Acumatica production orders. It is automatically creating material and labor transactions in Acumatica when nesting is completed. And it's also checking sheet library records in Acumatica and creating them inside of your nesting software when they are received in your Acumatica ERP. To start with the NestLink demo, I'm going to be walking through two different production orders that we're going to be taking out of Acumatica into our nesting software, which in this case will be SigmaNEST. We're going to nest those two different production order requirements inside of SigmaNEST together. We're going to simulate the completion of that nest, and we're going to send them back into Acumatica, creating those labor and material transactions that I discussed earlier. Now, the first production order that I have here is production order AM number 74. It is identifying our inventory ID, our 5695781-0 bracket that we want to produce. And we would like to produce 22 of this inventory ID from this production order. If we look at the production details for this Acumatica production order, we can see that we've got a laser work center that's being applied to the material. And we have our material, our MS100-1 mild steel sheet with an estimated requirement of 56 square inches. Now, a couple of different criteria that NestLink is looking for when it's in the background checking Acumatica for these production order details. It is looking in particular for all production orders that are in a released state and that also include a specific work center. In my case, NestLink is looking for production orders that contain this laser work center. These work centers can be one, or it could be multiple. If you have multiple different types of machines or work centers that you have set up in Acumatica that all need to go to your nesting software, we can set up NestLink to look at all production orders that contain those specific types of work centers. The other production order that I have that I'll be sending to SigmaNEST is production order number 75. Now, this is a very similar style of production order, nothing too complicated. We've got a different inventory ID that we want to produce. We want to produce 15 of them. And if we look at our production order details, we'll see a very similar story. Our WC200 laser work center, our mild steel sheet as our material, and our status of released. Now, to send these details into SigmaNEST, I'm going to open up our NestLink application. And I'm going to enter in the production order numbers inside of our process box here. Now, this process that I'm doing to send information into Acumatica and that I will do to update Acumatica from SigmaNEST will be in the background in a production environment. I'm doing this manually at the moment, just for demo purposes, but in a production environment, NestLink would get started on the server, you would leave it alone, and it would periodically check Acumatica or SigmaNEST for new details to process each way. So we'll start with processing job 75, we'll move to job 74, and once this is done, we can then go into our SigmaNEST application, and we can check our work orders inside of our application, and we should see two new work orders. We have work order number 74 and 75, which are our newly created work orders. We can see that they've been newly created because of our creation date, which is today's date, January 23rd, 2023. If I open up each of these work order records, this is where we'll find some additional information that NestLink has extracted from the Acumatica production order. We've got our part name, which is our Acumatica inventory ID, our quantity ordered, our work center due date or our production order due date, our material that we specified, and the thickness coming from that Acumatica sheet attributes that was specified on the production order. We also have the DXF drawing that we see here on the right-hand side that NestLink also pulls into the work order in SigmaNEST at the time of creation. The logic used to find this DXF file is that NestLink is looking for the same file name matching the Acumatica inventory ID with that DXF extension in a shared network location somewhere. Now that we have our two work orders created inside of SigmaNEST, we can now nest them together and simulate the completion of this nest. So from here, this is all SigmaNEST functionality. We're going to select those two work orders that we just created onto a single nest. We're going to select our sheet that we want to nest these on, and we're going to let SigmaNEST do its thing, create its nest. We'll create a program, and we'll post this program to the machine. Now for our SigmaNEST application, the trigger for marking this nest as completed is this update button. So I will select this program, number 185, and select update. And I will then return back into my NestLink application and process this program through NestLink. Again, just to reiterate, this process that I'm doing manually would be automatic in the background in a production environment. So NestLink is going to extract the details of that nest that we just updated. It's going to extract material quantity consumed, estimated cutting time, and quantities produced of those two parts coming from those two separate Acumatica production orders that were grouped together on a single nest. Now that that's complete, we can return back into our Acumatica production order, and we can see the status for our production order number 75 has been changed to completed. Our quantity completed has been set to 15. And if we look at our production transactions for this production order, we've got 3 new transactions, a material transaction, labor, and a cost transaction. We can look at the material transaction, and we can see that we've consumed 5,566 square inches of that raw material. And this is a calculated value that NestLink calculates based off of the nest layout from SigmaNEST. So it is taking the true area of the parts, summing them together, and multiplying the scrap or the skeleton area and allocating a percentage of that skeleton area to that true area. The calculation that we do is based off of part ratios, so larger parts will get a larger percentage of scrap, whereas smaller parts consume a smaller percentage of the scrap will get a smaller percentage of that scrap. We can also look at our labor transaction. We can see that we are passing our completed quantity along with our labor time, which is the SigmaNEST estimated cutting time. If we look at our production order number 74, it's a similar story. We've got our status here set to completed, our quantity completed 22. And if we check our production transactions, we can see we've got a similar story. Our material consumption, 1,633 square inches. If you were to sum this together with the other material quantity that we consumed on the other production order, it would add up to a total sheet area, which in my case is 7,200, which is a 120 by 60 sheet. We have the labor transaction here as well, with a different cutting time and quantity based off of those SigmaNEST values. So that brings us to the full loop of our NestLink integration. We've demonstrated extracting production requirements out of Acumatica, creating those records inside of SigmaNEST, and updating Acumatica production orders with our material and labor transactions. The whole goal of this integration is to eliminate a lot of that manual data entry and manual efforts to create these transactions back in Acumatica, as well as streamline the communication of actual consumed quantities and keeping our material inventory in sync with our actual on-hand quantities.
Thank you, Nathan. NestLink does all the heavy lifting behind the scenes, ensuring that your production jobs flow smoothly from ERP into SigmaNEST, as well as feeding real production results back into your ERP, closing the loop and keeping your operations fully aligned. Thank you for joining us, and we hope you now have a clearer picture of how NestLink drives efficiency from your ERP to the shop floor and beyond. If you found this helpful or want to learn how QBuild and NestLink can help enhance your productivity and streamline your shop floor processes, please visit our website and book a live demo today. Thank you, and see you in the next one.